Hey everybody, and welcome to my short story playground. This is episode number 5 of Diverse Sci-Fi and Fantasy Stories podcast. I'm your host, author Alicia McCullough. Thanks for tuning in. This podcast is all about me honoring my son's legacy and sharing my diverse science fiction and fantasy stories with the world. Hey, welcome to my short stories playground. I love writing, and this is a chance for me to show readers my writing style and to play within different genres. Ooh. Some of these stories could go on to being a larger novel or series, and well, others are a chance for me to bounce around ideas and be creative. Okay, this story I was thinking about was writing a Black woman vigilante. So why did I write it? Well, I wanted to write a story about justice and the theme of things are not always what they appear to be. Okay, guys, I hope you like it. Here's my latest flash fiction short, The Red Diamond. Fat Eddie had my baby sister. There was nothing standing in his way of murdering her except my handing him the red diamond. I had to steal it first, and he knew that. Perhaps he wasn't as dumb as he looked. He had a point to prove, obviously. This was all my fault. Fat Eddie got tired of me playing Robin Hood with his drug-dealing biz money and paid a healthy ransom to figure out who I really was. I wish he'd have just come after me instead. That would have been better. But guys like him didn't get to where they were by being stupid. If it matters, I don't have any regrets about stealing money from a kingpin and giving it to the people who needed it. People who were destitute. Living in a D was hard enough. Detroit had been in significant decline over the years, but saying it was on hard times is laughable. The mean streets got vicious. I did what I could to keep it livable. I understood the hood. That's how I grew up, from the mean streets, learning what it meant to be on the bottom of drug pushers, dope peddlers, and gang members. The gangs ran neighborhoods better than the po-po. The gang money makers were out of control. They ran the damn city. Large cats like Fat Eddie. Gangs made their own justice, street justice. Gang justice killed my older brother. I witnessed them murder him because he stood up to them and wouldn't join the 5th Street Hood Boys. I remember the funeral, the preacher going on and on and on about God. Me, I wanted justice. I wanted to balance the scales in a prophetic way, the way you do in the hood. Hood justice was hard, and so was I. I became the vigilante, Black justice. And now, 5th Street Hood Boys no longer existed. My only fault? Not keeping my real identity a secret. Now, Fat Eddie held my sister hostage while I was forced to steal the famous red diamond to repay him for all the money I'd stolen from him. Fuck. I entered the enchanted diamond jewelry auction house where the diamond was kept. From my research, I knew it was worth at least $1 million. I hadn't stolen that much from that fat asshole, but I guess he really was trying to make his point. The auction building was completely dark, devoid of any power. I'd knocked out the grid for the entire block. It was strange, though. They didn't have guards around. The place was empty and a little eerie. Something was wrong. I needed to be really careful. Maybe Fat Eddie decided to set me up instead of making me repay him. I adjusted my infrared glasses. Nothing except a bunch of jewelry cases. I tapped the button on my arm screen. The map led me to a case in the back room. I crept around and quietly entered the room where the diamond was supposed to be held. The room was much larger than it appeared from the outside. High vaulted ceilings and a tall staircase. Where is everyone? I was expecting some resistance. It couldn't be this easy. I turned up the volume on my headset. I didn't hear voices, but crunching noises. Was someone breathing? Taking a smoke, maybe? I glanced over in the direction where I smelled smoke. Detective John Frank stood on the carpet, the case's glass crunching beneath his feet. The diamond was gone. What was he doing here? I paused. Yep, that was Detective Frank. Big white dude wearing a cheap-ass suit and a dirty trench coat. Seriously, he needed to invest in some stylish digs. Was he here to investigate the theft? Frank put his cigarette out and said, "Looks like they beat you to it." He motioned toward the busted case. "No use in hiding. I know you're here. I can smell you. I've been waiting for you." His voice was silent but deadly. "The police syndicate sent me." The police syndicate? Did Fat Eddie tell them who I was? The syndicate is working for Fat Eddie now? My voice modulator made me sound masculine, gruff, and hard. He chuckled. "No, Eddie is just greedy and put a high ransom out for the diamond. We figured you would show up and try to steal it too, but you're too late." I smiled, but he couldn't see me. The police syndicate was mad. I'd gone all out with my vigilantism, stole from them, and hogtied a group of dirty cops in front of the news station with proof. Hey, what can I say? I'm an equal opportunity vigilante. "You've stepped on the wrong foot and must be handled appropriately. Payback and all." He took something and swallowed. I laughed, the voice modulator in full effect. "You're going to take me down all by yourself?" Before I knew it, he was across the room and on top of me. Shit! Dude was on ice. The drug that gave people dangerous superhuman abilities. The good news was the stuff only lasted for a few minutes. The bad news was I never used it, so didn't have the strength to stop him. What I lacked in strength, my exoskeleton suit made up for. I jumped high and attached to the edge of the vaulted ceiling. I thought about pulling the vent cover off and escaping, but I was too slow. Frank shot from the ground, barreling towards me. I held my spot. Then at the last second, I moved and allowed him to hit the wall. He grunted. I dropped down and so did Frank. He undid his tie. I think he was getting serious with me now. I set my timer. His super strength could only last 2 more minutes, tops. He sprang towards me. If I hadn't been wearing high-heeled combat boots, he would have engulfed me. Instead, we stood toe to toe. He punched me, swinging hard. That shit hurt, even through the suit's protection, but I shook it off. I punched him as hard as I could. I knew one thing, hitting him wouldn't do me any favors. I'd have to do this another way. Physics. That's what I needed. I released the grappling gun from my holster. I shot the hook toward the top edge of the staircase and it attached. Frank kept coming. I ducked when Frank threw his next punch. He missed me again. His body tumbled toward one side and I kept him moving around in circles until the rope was loosely tied around his body. He swung at me again, but this time I'd attached the other hook onto his belt loop. Then I leaped up to the top of the staircase, grabbed the first hook and dropped down, allowing my body weight to do the work by pulling him up like a makeshift pulley. While he kicked and spun, I allowed the rest of the rope to ravel around and around till he couldn't move. He was trapped. And just in time for the drug to wear off. Whew. I stood there breathing. The lights popped back on. Shit. I took off my infrared glasses. I had to get out of here, and I still didn't have the damn diamond. I was pretty sure the police syndicate and Fat Eddie hadn't teamed up. Frank moaned. He was going to have a horrible headache later. I couldn't think about the fact that he'd attacked me or what I did to piss off the police syndicate. They needed to get in line. Right now, I had to track down the red diamond thief and save my sister. But who stole it? I had an idea. I'd wait for the police to show up. I had unique insight and I could help them. I strolled out of the auction house and waited for the popo a couple of blocks over in my souped-up Thunderbird. It'd be a while before they arrived. It was the Detroit police. It'd take them at least an hour. I made a few adjustments while I waited, then drove to the auction house. Lights were flashing. Yep, they'd arrived. I let the two cops enter. I think I knew them. I called them Officers Bunny and Clud. Not their real names, of course, but it fit them. I entered the building. I took out my cornrows and allowed my curly afro to be free, as well as change into my hot black dress and large spiky red heels. I pushed my breasts up a little higher. Apparently, I was willing to do anything, even pimp myself out. My nerves were raw. If I didn't bring Fat Eddie that diamond, he was going to kill my baby sister. The two officers were in the room looking up at Frank. They'd almost gotten him down. One of them saw me. Officer Bunny drew his sidearm. I immediately put my hands up. A sister can't be too careful, even when the police officers were black. Then Bunny, or rather Barney, returned his weapon to the holster. Detective Armstrong, you scared the shit out of me. I smiled at him. He kind of looked like a bunny. I said, I was on my way to a hot date and heard the radio. Officer Cloud helped Detective Frank into a nearby chair. My brain was racing. I knew 3 things. Number 1, I had to find that damn diamond and save my sister. Number 2, I had to kill Fat Eddie because he knew my real identity. Frank, you look like hell. I tried to use my best detective voice. It sounded so different without voice modulation. Who kicked the shit out of you? Frank looked at me with that weird grin on his face, but I don't think he recognized me as Black Justice. And 3, I have to kill my partner because he was an ice addict and was working for the police syndicate. So I love hearing what readers think about my work. If you think this story should become something more, or you just want to let me know what you think about it, feel free to post a comment on my blog or email me from the contact form on my website. And just in case you wanted to know about my current work in progress, I'm rewriting XJ, the protagonist of Breaking Free, as a superhero. Here's a short description of what I've been working on. It may change, but this is the core. The title is Becoming a Hero, and my tagline, when choosing to become a hero can mean becoming a vigilante killer. The movie tie-in is Batman Dark Universe meets Divergent. All right, and here's the book cover blurb. Outside the safety of post-apocalyptic domed Atlanta, heroes and villains constantly battle to death. Life is safer for those who declare neutrality. XJ Patterson is constantly bullied by her stepsister for wanting to be a hero. XJ becomes sick of the bullying and retaliates. She even believes she's won. Then her stepsister's bullying takes a horrible turn and endangers the life of her mother. No one in her neutral world will lift a finger to save her undocumented mom, who has declared herself a hero. XJ is devastated and knows she is the only person who can save her mother. There's only one problem. XJ must use illegal tech mods to boost her genetic super abilities. With great power comes a warped mind. XJ must resist the addiction to the mods or end up a dangerous vigilante killer like her mother and grandmother. All right, guys. I'm author Alicia McCullough, and I write science fiction and fantasy stories for readers who want diverse protagonists and unique storylines. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support me or donate to my Cup of Tea Fund, just head on over to my blog on my website. Find this post and click on the donate button at the bottom. And if you're not one of my subscribers and want to join my League of Heroes, go to www.aliciamccullough.com to sign up for my newsletter, get updates, learn about my latest projects, and purchase my diverse sci-fi and fantasy stories. If you're already one of my subscribers, thank you so much. And please feel free to share this podcast with anyone you think might enjoy it. Okay, guys. Until next time, Wakanda forever. And thanks for listening.